for me, it's been absolutely friggin' awesome. I've actually really enjoyed it. So we've got some good stuff on that. So we've got that to come on. But more importantly, we're going to be talking about the painting competition that launched just over a month ago. Due to the internet dying and me being a sick little puppy, we're going to go through some of the entries tonight as well, because there's been some really cool entries been added. Some absolutely awesome painted models. So thank you to everyone that's taken part on that. That's been absolutely freaking awesome. I've really enjoyed going through and actually looking through all those models as well. It's been really cool. Been some real inspiration in there as well. Hopefully it's kind of given Sean that kick at the bottom he's needed, get him involved and start wanting to paint. Looking at that little eyebrow raise means it's probably not going to be the case. But do you know what? Hey, it is what it is, right, Sean?
There are some good entries in there. I like them.
Cool. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on.
Yeah, I'll try and keep the excitement to one side.
So we don't have Ace tonight.
Can I actually enter this competition?
Say that again.
Can I even enter our own competition?
No, you can't enter your own competition. It's the same as Simon entered and he's been taken back out of the running for it. A bit upset about it, but I was like, so I'm really sorry, Simon. You can't enter into this painting competition because you're already involved in the channel, so that's a bit unfair on that, unfortunately. So yeah, it is what it is, but he's enjoyed entering into it anyway, which is really cool. So what we got, let's see what we got in the comments so far. So need to paint my fully 2k points, brought an assembled paint, just not arrived yet. Yeah, have I missed something here? I've got paints arrived, but no knights. Hopefully, Chaos Knights are going to be turned up for tomorrow for ourselves. And
I got all my stuff today, actually.
Say that again.
I got all my stuff today.
I'm working on a PowerPoint. Beaten head. Yeah, I know that feeling, mate. A couple of days ago, I will join you on that thing. So if you want to put down on the, because obviously you've got a YouTube channel yourself, my friend. If you want to pop down, link in below of the YouTube channel, because you guys do some really cool content. I really thoroughly enjoy watching you guys. You guys are absolutely friggin' awesome, and we really do appreciate it as well when you watch ourselves as well. So you guys are absolutely really cool. So we're going to give it a couple more secs. Actually, I tell you, we're going to start the show now. So we're going to be official. We're going to go live, and it's going to be right now. We're not going to do that little thing that John does where he puts our little symbol up to say he's going to be recording. So we're going to go straight into it. So welcome to Wednesday night's live Twisted Dice stream on Twitch. I'm Darren, and my co-host tonight is going to be Sean, flown all the way in from, where was it from, Sean? Scotland or Ireland?
Ireland.
I never get over that little comment that someone put on there. Our little Scottish friend. Bless him. Do you remember that? One of the battle reports. Someone was asking about yourself, and they said they asked where you were, and they asked you if you're Scottish.
I can't remember half the stuff I say day to day.
Very funny. Very funny comment on that one. And I know obviously it made us all laugh on that as well. So that's really cool. So tonight's agenda, we're going to talk a little bit about Apocalypse. I've had a chance to actually play the game. Really enjoyed it. So we're going to have a little talk about that, which is going to be one of the topics. Sean's going to update us a little bit on Titanicus, and we're going to try to go through, or Sean's going to hopefully try to go through some of the Chaos Knights and what he's got planned coming up. Hopefully, looking at that little dazed look upon his face, it's like, oh, okay. But that's the plan, and then we're going to go through with the actual painting competition itself. So if you haven't already, we are on YouTube as well, so you can check us out on YouTube under as Twisted Dice. You can also find us on Facebook. Check us out again on as Twisted Dice. Same on Instagram. You can obviously check out John under as Aceface, and myself, and that was a good catch. That was a friggin' horsefly. That was a horsefly, mate. He was going in for the bite. If you have never been attacked by a horsefly, they're absolutely friggin' nasty things. You don't feel the bite, but you do feel the aftermath of the damn things. They are very vicious and brutal. But I'm glad I actually caught that damn thing. A little
What? You left your door open. That's the problem. Look, everyone can see the doors open.
I know, but it's so hot in there. It's like
It is hot.
so.
It is hot. Tomorrow is going to be the hottest day in the UK on record. It's going to be like what, 39? They've said.
It's gonna be absolutely freaking awesome. It's gonna be crazy. I love the heat, so it's gonna be awesome on that side. But if anyone wants to lose weight, that's the great time to lose it because you can just be out in that sun, just sweating absolutely buckets out, and you're definitely gonna get that weight loss in there, right? See me up a little ladder in a little blue hat, sweat my. It's gonna be a good day tomorrow.
Are you working tomorrow?
Yeah, I am. I am back. First day back tomorrow after a week of sickness. Papa Nurgle has blessed me
We should do
with the
this.
blessings that he gave me. Made me bedbound, put me on my knees, begging for mercy. And the God Emperor himself denied me the 5-up feel no pain. I had to suck it up like a true man, lay in my bed crying.
I wish we could do a before and after picture.
Yeah, no, you really want to see that at all. But we did do an awesome battle report last night, so we did got back onto the what's the word? Got back on the horse. So we've done two battle
Bandwagon.
reports Monday night with.
Aaron,
No,
that's, that's so.
So we done the cool battle report between Blood Angels and Demons on Monday night. So that's a really cool one. Hopefully coming out this Friday with Dan and the Preacher. Hopefully some little funny little bits added into that as well. Made me a little chuckle. As you can tell, I'm someone that's very, very easily pleased, and in the editing side of that side, I did kind of add a little bit of humour into that. Now you're going to probably watch back at that and think that actually sucks, but do you know what? I enjoyed it. It tickled
Right,
my boat for a
someone's
sec.
asking about 39 degrees in Fahrenheit. I'll have a look at that. That will be.
That's normal Texas heat, really. Yeah, but the thing is, though, over here, it's the heat. It's humid as well, so
72 Fahrenheit is warm. That would be good.
it's like really sticky, horrible heat, and it's just absolutely brutal. It's not fun at all, is it, Sean? When
No,
it gets
not at
hot
all.
here,
I
it's
mean,
just
again,
horrible.
the hottest the UK is ever going to be. It's quite funny though when it's hot in the UK that what they do is like if it gets to 24, 25, what the papers like to do is they like look all around the world for really warm places like Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, Sydney. They'll like find a few places that are in the middle of winter and cold, and then our national newspapers just print, oh, it's hotter than Sydney, and yeah, we get a bit carried away by it.
Yeah, it's absolutely bonkers. Um, do we ever see the pictures of like people trying to cook eggs on cars and on pavements?
Yeah, they do that. I guarantee tomorrow, right? It'll be like hottest day. Tomorrow, or what you'll find is maybe even in the evening papers or on Friday. I'll try and get a paper and bring it in next for the next podcast and show people.
Yeah, it's not bad. Air conditioning would be an absolute godsend. Unfortunately, I don't have any aircon for the amount of time we have the hot weather. It's here for a couple of weeks and then it's gone, and then we get miserable grey skies, and then we get lots and lots of rain. That's what we're good for, right, Sean?
What rain here? Yeah, we love a bit of rain. It was rain down here yesterday. It was like lightning. It was like thunder,
Oh, the thunderstorm was absolutely brutal last night. It actually woke us up.
like sheet lightning.
Oh, it was crazy, absolutely crazy. Woke up in the middle of the night, just heard a massive great bang, and then all I hear was all the car alarms going down the road. So I was kind of sniggering at that. I looked out the window to see all the lights flashing down the road, like, yeah, I don't have to get out to that. And then got back into bed, laying
What does
there
your dog do?
thinking,
When it's like lightning.
yeah, the lightning set him all off. But the thing is, I was all smug at the
Yeah, but
beginning.
what does your dog do?
He
What is
was
weird?
asleep, but he's
You
deaf
run
now.
to the bed.
No,
He's deaf.
he's
Deaf
deaf.
dog.
So just see him just laying on his back like with his little paw going. Doesn't care. Whatever, man. But yeah, just laying there sniggering, all the car alarms going off, laying there thinking, yep, perfect. I don't have to get out of bed to do that. And then like 20 minutes later, I realised that maybe 20 minutes is a bit exaggeration, but after a bit of time had gone past and the car alarms were still going off, I was kind of like, actually, do you know what? This is getting a bit annoying now. I can't actually go out and turn these alarms off. Some other mug's got to go out and turn them off. And if they're in their back room and they can't hear it, I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to I'm gonna have to sit this through because I'm not gonna close the window because it's too damn hot, which kind of sucks. So yes, it was funny at the beginning, and then afterwards it kind of sucks. You're kind of hoping, waiting for the battery to die on the car very, very quickly, or someone else to lose their crap and go out and attack the damn thing until get someone's attention to actually go and actually turn their alarm off, which was cool. It was fun.
Anyway, we digress.
We do digress, and this is one of your traits, Sean. This is like one of your auras that comes off from yourself. You help digress.
Someone has actually said, that's normal Texas heat.
Yeah, I see that. It's different type of heat though. That's different type of heat. So let's talk about one of the things that I'm loving at the moment is Apocalypse. So I got a chance to play 200 points worth of Apocalypse game.
200 points.
200 points doesn't sound a lot, does it?
No, not really. I thought you were missing a zero there for a second.
Yeah, no, 200 points worth.
Or 2 zeros.
So the way Apocalypse works now, you don't do it off. You don't work off points. So you don't go off. Power level. Sorry, 200 power level, not 200 points. Sorry, I do apologise. So you're going by the power level of the actual unit itself, opposed to working out the points. So when you choose a squad of like Space Marines, for instance, you're just going by the power level. So you're not paying for the individual bits like pistols and stuff like that, because they don't. The other extra little weapons, like the las cannon into a tactical squad, they do count, but it doesn't make a massive great difference in the way the actual game plays. And one of the cool things on the way the Apocalypse game works, it's so easy to put an army together. So you can go through your list, you can make up your power level very, very quickly. It doesn't have to be exact. So like I think when we played on the Sunday, my opponent, he had 250, as I was just sitting just shy over 200 points in power level. So it sounds quite massive in the actual jump in the points itself, but it didn't make a massive great difference in the actual game itself. So there's a couple of things that's changed in the actual main game into 40k. So 40k and Apocalypse, they play different, and that a little bit to get around on that side. So like the movement side and things like that, they are still the same. The way they move, that still hasn't changed itself. But like I think how Titanicus was where you put the
activations, isn't it?
Activations, that's correct. So once you chose your army, you chose your side, you've done your missions. The cool part about it is you go through your whole. So when you choose your say your battalion, let's go with like your battalion for instance. So once you choose your battalion has to stay together. So for instance, if you've got in your battalion, if you've got like 3 demon princes, you've got 4 squads of troops, you've got a couple of fast moving vehicles. If your battalion decides like your demon princes are going to go off one way, your battalion are going to go off to the other way, as soon as you start going away from your warlord from that battalion, they really do suffer later on in the round. So you've got to really keep your army together within the 12-inch bubble, which doesn't sound big, but it's quite crucial, and it plays a massive great part in the way the game plays itself, which is cool. So once you've set up, you then before you move, you then start choosing your actions. Now, if I remember rightly, you've got one that allows you to move and charge. One lets you just stand still and shoot, which gives you a better.
So do you have like an order phase then at the start of the turn?
Yeah, so so you have the order phase where you then select on what your unit's going to do, but you put your tokens
you go
face
through
down
each
to your
army,
opponent.
right? So not each army. You go right, me, you through your battalions, your big super heavy units, and you give them orders, right?
That's correct. So
then you go into like, is it so you'll have like a movement phase where if you went first fire, you can fire the guns instead of moving. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so it's something similar to that. So what the idea is upon it is you put your tokens down face down, so your opponent can't see what you're doing. So once you've done all your battalions, so you've given the orders on what they're going to do. When it then goes into the next phase, you then reveal what orders you've given that battalion, and this is the cool part about it. So depending on what you've done, it then obviously can make a big difference to how your opponent reacts. So then this is where it gets really, really cool, is when you start then choosing to activate your units, you take it in turn which unit activates first. So roll off. So I choose a unit to activate, depending on what I've decided to do, whether I'm standing still for the better shooting, whether I'm going in for the combat, or whether I'm just going in the normal parameters with the actual units itself. So you get that chance to actually react to what's going around the battlefield.
Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really, really cool. So
No, that's how Titanicus plays. That's just
say that again.
That's just Titanicus.
Spot on. It is. There's so many similar. They're very, very similar on the way they work. So like when you go to then shooting, like a tactical squad of Marines. So like for 10 Marines, it's 2 dice you roll. So instead of firing 40 dice at rapid fire, it's just 2 dice. That's all you're rolling. And then depending on what you're going against. So if you're going against troops, I think you're hitting on 7s on a D12. And if you're going against shooting against vehicles, and then you're hitting on a better. So that it's your hitting's rolled on a D6. Your wounding is on a D12, and that varies depending on what you're going on to. So troops on bolters are better against troops, but they're worse at wounding on vehicles. Does that make sense so far?
It does. It's an interesting mechanic. I find if you do alternate activations, right? So if anybody's played Apocalypse or Titanicus, as you said, you react to what happens around you. So you could have someone fire one unit that you didn't expect, and then you want to move another unit into cover and just get out of line of fire of a particular unit. You can do that, so you have to make those choices, right? What do you fire first? Like you might have a tank that you know will do a lot of damage, but you've got to fire that first. And if you choose to fire that first, then that person can maybe move another unit, or you don't fire the tank first, then someone can blow up the tank and you don't get to shoot with it. So I think I really like it. I think it's really strategic, because you really have to think about, and you kind of play depending on what your opponent does a lot more. I kind of find with 8 at the minute, as much as I have fun playing 8, you basically know if someone gets the charge in you, they're going first. Like, I mean, there's a few units that differ, but I'm all up for that. I'd love to see the next.
Oh, the gremlins are kicked into his Wi-Fi. You just froze a little bit there, mate.
I'm back here. But anyway, I think you guys got the gist of my point anyway.
Yeah, so I think you're right. So going into 9th, I think we're going to see some of these things from Apocalypse maybe going over into 9th. So where you were saying about being more tactical on the way you play it, one of the things I really liked about the Apocalypse game is if you say, like for instance, you've got a Baneblade on the other side of the table that's shot at you, you still get the chance to interact with those models before the end of the battle round. So if that Baneblade was then shooting at let's say your Baneblade was shooting at your Imperial Knight, you have that option then to use that knight to whatever orders you've given it to actually have that chance to actually fire back. So then when you go into the next phase and actually working out the damage, it makes it a lot, so it made it a lot more fairer that everything had that opportunity to do some form of interaction on the board, which was absolutely awesome. But the one thing I really liked was the way the damage was done.
How does the damage?
So a lot of stuff only had like one damage count. It could only take 1 damage or 1 wound. Like the Baneblade, I think it had like 5 wounds on it. When you do the damage on it, and this is the part I liked, if you do the first damage, you take a small blast marker. When it takes 2 damage, you take a large blast marker on it. So now your vehicle, you could put, say, like 20 large blast markers on it. Yeah? It's not going to be destroyed until you go into taking that saving throw. So on a small blast marker, you're making a save on a D12. Some vehicles have a 5-up, some things have a 6-up, depending on what you're going against. So you have that opportunity then to save that model from the damage. With the big blast marker, you have to make that save on a D6, so you have less chance of actually saving that model from actually getting blown up off the actual table itself. So that itself was an absolutely friggin' cool mechanic of the actual game itself. It was absolutely awesome. Really, really enjoyed it.
So that just speeded up a little bit more.
Yeah, it did. So that amount of points that we played, we started the game about 10, half 10, and I think we was finished around about 4, half 4 in the afternoon. So the actual game itself, so the amount of troops and amount of stuff we actually had on the battlefield itself in the 40k side of things. So if we was playing that as in the 8th standard, we'd probably find that we'd probably be there the whole day playing it, and we probably won't get to maybe turn 3, turn 4. Like as we've in the past when we've played Mass Great Apocalypse games, even you're aware that when we play Apocalypse games on how long an absolute Apocalypse games takes. Apart from that one we did at Warhammer World, where we done it by 12 o'clock, where the other people quit. It takes an absolute forever to play it. But the way this game plays, it's just so quick, so fast. And I know some of the guys now down at our local gaming club are actually preferring to play 40k using the Apocalypse rules than actually using the 8th rules. So that was interesting. That was an interesting way of seeing how they're interacting now with the different mechanics, and what ones they actually prefer, whether they actually prefer playing the 40k and using the 8th edition rules, or whether they prefer actually playing 40k using the Apocalypse rules. And I say some of the people now are starting to convert over using the actual Apocalypse rules itself, just because the way the mechanics work, it made it very, very interesting on that side. And it was the whole game itself was really fun to play. Really, really enjoyed it. And I didn't feel that I brought a unit onto the tabletop that didn't get a chance to do something on the in the actual game itself. Like in the past, if you'd played Apocalypse before in the previous edition, you could take some really, really cool stuff on there. Like you could take loads and loads of troops. Someone then take something big with a deep weapon, and then you just kiss that unit goodbye, and you don't get that opportunity then to interact on the actual tabletop itself. But this actually gives you that opportunity to interact with everything on the actual table itself, and that was cool. And that was like a really, really, really cool mechanic out there. But so really, really interested for the guys we've got in the chat at the moment, whether anyone else has actually had a chance to play Apocalypse. What has been your take on the Apocalypse? What's been your highlights? What's been what's the good parts you find about the Apocalypse, and what things you found you haven't liked about the Apocalypse? So that's going out to the audience to see if there's been any interaction on that side, because it'd be interesting to see what other people think about Apocalypse. But yourself, Sean, what's your opinion of it?
I haven't played it yet.
I know you haven't played on it, but like what you've seen of it so far, what's been your
I'm all in favour of playing big games with your friends, whereby everything gets to interact. Nothing worse than like bringing thousands of points and then what it's like. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Where you just you can spend a half hour just removing all your models, like lots of your models, and that's not really fun.
No.
Back and forth is pretty good. I don't know, it's still a little bit long. Do you know what I mean? It'd be great if you could put your models out and stuff died really quickly. I think it'll always be a beer and pretzels kind of thing, but I like the mechanics of the different level of dices depending on the weapon.
Yeah, and I like that, beer and pretzels. The interesting thing about the other thing I didn't mention in there was you get cards for the different armies. So like there's different cards do different things as well. So at any point you can play the cards. So depending on what the cards were, you can actually use them for various different things. So it's like I think you've got to take 30 cards in your deck. So you build your deck up and you randomly pick your cards out of your deck. So for every warlord you've got, you get a command card for each one of those in there. So like if you're playing Imperial Guard, you could put together like 10 cheap battalions together, just doing the bare basics in there. So you could be really dirty and like stack up on those cards very, very quickly. And what those, and for like an Imperial Guard, those are the cards they put out there. It's horrible. There's some really nasty, brutal command cards they can use. and they can cause a lot of devastation on the on the battlefield straight away. That was one thing I didn't mention. That changed the way the game played itself as well. But it was cool. Still cool. It was still not as bad as like the formations were back in the days, but it's still a really, 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 really cool mechanic on the actual game itself. But the interesting part on that is obviously it breaks it down into the fractions. So you've got your Imperium. So you can't do Imperium Chaos like you could do in the past, or Elder with Tau or anything like that. So you still got to go by how it is at the moment, which is cool. I like that. I really do like that part of it itself. But it'd be interesting to see, like, maybe in the future we could get a battle report together, where maybe we get 4 of us together and we actually do try to get Apocalypse game in and maybe record the actual game itself. I think that'd be like a really, really interesting one to do. I know there's been some battle reports out there at the moment with Apocalypse, but I think that'd be a really, really cool one for us to do as a team. Maybe chuck some beers in there, liven it up, really get everyone rowdy, the banter going, the jokes, the insults, the mother jokes, really going to town on it. I love the way you looked up there, like, oh, what, mother? What's my mum done?
No, I didn't.
Nothing. She's fine.
I'm just looking at my t-shirt, and I was like, oh, I'm branded up.
Don't worry. We can't actually. Can't see your t-shirt, so you're fine.
That's okay.
Unless you want to stand up and actually give everyone a little demonstration on how it looks.
I'm okay. I'll start getting emails.
Yeah, David, it's. I think once we get that going, I think that'd be a really, really cool one to actually to share up online, because that'd be really cool, and I look forward into doing it as well. I think it's going to be a really, really cool game to demonstrate. Even if we do like equivalent of a 2,000 point one, something we can actually do on a 6x4. That's something we could record in the actual studio itself. Otherwise, it means I have to dismantle the actual gaming table just to do an Apocalypse game, which I'm not going to do that. So it has to be done on a 6x4. It's not happening just yet. Not until get some money to replace the lights, and then maybe I'll do it. But not just yet. It's not happening. Not just yet. But yeah, so that's Apocalypse. That's where I am with Apocalypse. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Gonna play it again. Look forward to playing it again. Be interesting to see if any big tournaments come up with that as well, which would be really cool. Thank you, Memphis. Really appreciate that comment, my friend. That's very, very kind of yourself. Titanicus, Sean. Now, we've had some cool new models come out for Titanicus. Well, just one cool model come out with Titanicus.
What, the Pyron? Is that what you're on about?
Yeah, that's it.
I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it. It's the Knight Acastus. I think Acastus? Acastus? Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. Anyway, the big knight with the magma blast cannons is out. So they're pretty good. It seems like the rules on it are going to change the meta of the game. So a Warhound Titan is about 300 points, and one of these knights can pretty much go toe to toe with it. Like, you could do 100 1v1 battles with it, and this knight will always win. So that's pretty good, and it's only 100 points. So that's definitely going to change the meta of the game. Got some new cards, which I had in my pocket. They're out, and then there's some special terminals for character knights. So they've just been released last weekend. So I built some Pyron, I think I can say pronounce them, knights, and I've got some battle reports. Hopefully, I'm going to get in the mix. Still waiting on the electrician to come into the studio, do that before we can do that. But hopefully, we're only about 3 weeks away. One would hope.
So with the, obviously, say these knights can go toe to toe with other stuff, and they're being very, very cheap in the actual unit itself. But what makes them good? What's the stats on the actual weapon itself? What makes them the hotness?
So basically,
what's going to be what draws people to these models?
So these knights, they don't have void shields, but what they do have is they've got incredibly thick armor. So to score a devastating or a critical hit in them, you need to roll a 17. And if you think that, like, basically, or sorry, it's maybe 15, 16. If you think that, like, a volcano cannon for
Oh, we've lost him for a second. This is like where he's getting into
So,
it. So
I
we
keep
got you
freezing.
on, like we was talking about 16, 17. Then your internet froze, and all we saw you went.
Ah man, my internet is. I need to call up the provider. Then it's not good. Been doing this for a while. They're just really resilient, right? They're very difficult to damage, due to their armor, and then the firepower they pack is pretty strong. So they got 4 strength, 8 dice, and then they've got missiles that can shoot over line of sight, and they've got like kind of the old rending rules, or I don't know if you call it the old rending rules, but basically if you get a 6 to hit, you get another hit. Kind of a bit like the Tesla weapons that the Necrons have in 40k. So these things can like strip shields, and if you're out in the open, they can. Oh, the knights can come together, so you can come together, and each knight you add in there will add +1 to the strength of your weapon. So you can just like you can focus fire and just shred. Like even if you can get the shields of a warlord down, and it's standing in the open, and you got 4 of these knights for 400 points for the same value, you'll you'll knock it over. You'll just
What's the
crucify.
heating system like on these nights?
There's no heating system on the knights. They're the probably the only downside you have is if you get hit by like maybe a quake weapon, it'll shake them, so they'll move half their distance and struggle, and they'll have to do command checks. But there's not many downsides to them. They are incredibly good. They probably won't do well in combat against any other like Knight Lancers or Reavers with weapons, but aside from that, they're really good, really good, ridiculously good. They will probably you'll probably find like Knight armies will be at the top for a while, unless there's anything new weapons or something that's coming down the line to potentially change it.
Oh, okay. So they are literally the same size as an Imperial Knight.
So these how do you pronounce it? Let me have a little look see on Google. They are about the same size as a Warhound, just a little bit smaller.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know which one you mean. It's kind of like a bit bulky, and it's got the stacking out at the sides. Yeah, they do look really, really lovely, like really nice models. So how many have you gone out and purchased? Would be the first point.
Carastus, the Carastus Knights. The Pyrion. I think that's how you pronounce it. Pyrion. What was your question?
So how many have you purchased?
Oh, 10.
10.
Yeah, but what I did, I'm going to just commission paint some of them and sell them on.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So how many are you looking to keep?
I'll probably keep 5, so I can do a banner of them, which is 500 points. So if you're playing 1,500 points, that's a third of your army you're investing into them. But I could see people with 10 of them, like 10 of them, and then a few, let's say 700 points for basic knights and lancers. Like it's gonna really hurt.
Do they move very quickly?
They move about the same pace as a Reaver. But the thing is, they can shoot 360, whereas with a Titan, you've only got your front firing arc, and you've got to turn around. Whereas these things, like, they're just full 360, like pew 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 pew. Mate, they are brutal. I can't wait to see them on the table. Don't get me wrong. Certain people will be able to use buildings and cover to maneuver around them, and then like hit them with some really solid weaponry that'll do enough damage. But because they've all got barrage weapons with rapid fire, like sixes will add another hit to your shields. Like they're just stripping shields like so quick. 4 of them is 24 dice. Like that's going to strip down a warlord fairly easily, if not like half your army. And then you take a few stratagems, and you're doing some really nasty little tricks.
So is this like a normal Forge World trick then, where they release a new model that's just absolutely filthy to actually just sell these models? Because
I
like,
don't, I don't think they intended to do it like that. And to be fair, I've built the models up. I've got a big game that I'm playing on Saturday, which will be like a couple of thousand points. So I'll have a really good understanding. But it's going to be really interesting to see how they play. Like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you just always have to take a Quake weapon and just knock them back or shake them. That'll be really interesting to see. Um,
um,
maybe not. Maybe I'll come back and just say, look, if you want to win Titanicus, just go and buy these knights. The thing that doesn't bother me is if they're too OP and they're too overpowered, you could just say to your opponent, well, I don't, unless you're at a tournament, you just be like, look, I don't want you to use that knight. Like the rest of the game is really good. It's in a really good place right now where you can take different weapons and different things. But even the stratagems and they've got some new rules in White Dwarf, so you can create your own legios.
so we've got someone just put in there. If you want to kill it, hit it with a volcano. I don't think they're overpowered at all.
Well, let's wait and see. Give it a couple of weeks.
Saturday's coming up very, very quickly, right?
Saturday is coming up really quickly. I think the comment is fair. If you use a volcano cannon on them, right? Like you get a good blast. Like let's say you get a hit, you hit all four knights, and then you're just rolling dice. Like you could wipe them out, but you're only going to have two volcano cannons in your army. It's probably likely for what we're talking about here is four of them. You could take for the cost of two warhands, and they're much better than a warhound. Like each knight, they're three times as good. That's what I'm saying. So if you take warhounds in your army and you haven't played these, I think you just need to, a couple of games is my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but I genuinely think from what I've read and from who I've spoken to that these things are going to be nice. I'll know more on Saturday. Maybe I really am wrong. Maybe someone's just going to hit me with two volts.
It'd be interesting. Obviously, let's keep us updated on Facebook. Get some pictures done. Keep the community updated on how this tournament's going on, or how this game's going on, and how you're getting on, how you're finding it.
Should be good. Hopefully,
I'd be really interested on that. Welcome to the party, Dan. Better late than never, my friend. But we're very glad that you could join us tonight. You have been missed, my friend. We've been talking about Apocalypse, and we've been talking about Titanicus, and obviously we had a little chat about yourself and John and an awesome game you had the other night, being like really, really hot in the cabin. But it's been good. So the other thing was Facebook has gone nuts over them, but knights die at the drop of the hat if you focus. They're also way less mobile and have much harsher line of sights with terrain, although this theory is based on normal play. I've not used them yet. Interesting. But hopefully Sean's going to come back on next week and he's going to give us a little update on how they actually played itself. Question for yourself, Sean. So
yeah, sure.
I don't play a lot of Apocalypse. I don't play a lot of Titanicus. Not had opportunity to play that much of it. So this is a game style or game format that's run by Forge World post the Games Workshop. Is that correct?
No, it's games. It's both. It's the specialist team who've developed it. So it's the rules have been done by Forge World, but it's been brought out by Games Workshop, and then Forge World will do like the additions. So I think there's a separation now. So you've got Games Workshop who do all.
And as you can tell, the Sean's praying. You froze there for a sec, my friend. We just had you there, hands up, praying to the Emperor himself.
I know, it's really frustrating. I will speak to my provider. Games Workshop do all like the kind of core games. You've got the specialist team, then you got Forge World. So the specialist games team, they're kind of working on the like the Epic. You've got the old, what was the old space one called again?
Battlefleet Gothic,
and then Kill Team. They do all of that really niche stuff and the Warcry stuff, which is pretty cool. And then Forge World then support those. But I think I was saying to you the other day, Forge World have been really, really quiet for the best part of 6-12 months. So I think what they're doing is probably just ramping up, getting stuff in place to to kind of have a good, I think 2020 would be a good year for Forge World. They'll just bring out loads of bits along the way.
Let's hope so. Let's pray that they bring out some really cool 40k stuff. A lot of love for Forge World units, and some of the cool stuff they bring out. I love the detail they put into their models, like especially the stuff they used to do with Chaos. The detail they put into them was just absolutely immense. So if anyone from Forge World is listening to this or is watching this, please guys get back into the action. We as a community, we really do miss some of the cool stuff that you bring out for 40k. I know obviously your focus and love at the moment is Heresy and some of the other stuff, but please don't forget us 40k players, especially us Chaos players. We want to see some cool stuff come from you guys. That's my little rant. That's my little praise to Forge World. But what I was trying to ask you was, do they update? So like at the moment with 40k, we see a lot of cool. So it's a lot of the cool rules changes. So as the meta changes, Games Workshop have been on top of that. So if something's been overpowered or underpointed, they've been well on top of that, and they've actually been changing those points up quite quick, which has been fantastic from the Games Workshop. That's an absolutely awesome thing they've been doing, keeping
not really like that, Darren. It's not really there's not like it's only been out a year now, so we had at the start it was knights, so you had the warlords. It was warlords and knights, and then they brought in the warhounds, and then they brought in the reavers, and then we've had 2 books, expansion books, so they've expanded different legios, the special rules, so that's been good. I don't think they're going to come in and do sweeping changes with regards to the core rules of the game, but I think if they wanted to change it, what they would do is cards. Does that make sense?
Say that again. Sorry, we lost you for a sec.
They have weapon cards, so you basically put the cards down onto your terminal. So I think they could bring out new terminals with different points for the models, and I think they could change the strength of certain weapons, the ranges. I think that's how they would probably change the game. Like if there was at the minute, nobody ever really takes the flamers, the Inferno flamers. They're just really not used in the game. But if they wanted to, I think they could increase the strength and the damage done by them, or maybe just add some of the special strats and special rules to it. That may change how it works. Or they could just bring out new weapons. Like all they do is a blister pack and a card. That would be it.
Yeah, do you know what? That'd be really interesting. So, traitors and loyal legionaries named variants. So just saying about the new terminals brought out from that. So yeah, that's really cool.
They came out today, or like I got my terminals today. I was looking at them. So they're Legio specific, and so they go in with the name like the named, like you have a Legio that you take. So like Ultramarines. That my understanding from some of the people I've just kind of text or chat to is you have to take those Titans. You can take them in your Legio if you're doing a Legio pure, Titan maniple. You can take them in your army like that, or you can have them as supporting knights. I don't really know how they work like that. I mean, I'm not 100% up to date, but I don't know if you could just use one of these terminals in your, that isn't part of your army. It's basically like putting in, I don't know, a Blood Angel character into an Ultramarine army. I don't know if you can do that, if that makes sense.
Sure.
But the one that I have for Legio Defensor is really cool. If I don't move, I just get D3 shields back, which is pretty cool. I only have the Loyalist one, so I don't know what the Chaos ones are saying, but I will get them probably this week. I'll put an order in and see what they're like. They do look pretty cool.
So got comments in there. Yeah, they can be taken as reinforcement outside the mana pool, but your opponent gets strategy points because you've added another Legio to your army. That's interesting. That's really, really interesting.
I need to give this guy Grimdilk a game. He seems like he knows what's going on.
I think you two need to sort that out and get that sorted. Yeah, that'd be good.
You'll have to put some stuff on the Facebook page. Show us your Legio. I'm desperately keen to find people who want to play it. He'd probably tell me he's in Texas.
No, he's all the way in Australia. So he said that Russ said you have to go all the way to Australia to go play him. But
Ah, most
you have to
excellent.
fly out tomorrow though.
Where is he?
No, he lives not far from myself, so we can hook you up.
If he wants to, there's a big tournament down in Brighton, which you just turn up with your Titans, and it's on Saturday. Kicks off at about like 10 o'clock in the morning at the Dice Saloon, and I think we're just going to do a big epic campaign. So if you're free this Saturday, or if you can, get in a train, come down to Brighton, and bring your Titans with you. Bring everything you got.
There you go. So the big shout out's been done. So that's absolutely awesome.
Big shout out's been done. Right, what else we got to talk about?
So we haven't got much time left. So I was going to go through some of the nights. So obviously, our nights haven't turned up in the studio just yet. I'm kind of a bit sad on that. But what we have done so far, because obviously the illness has kicked in. So when the most crucial time coming out of nights, getting up to date with all the filth. Now there's some really filthy cool stuff that's coming out with nights and some of the cool things they do. So it's all over the internet already. So there's no point me talking about what they can and can't do because it's already out there on some of the cool stuff they can. But one of the cool things we've got coming up for the channel so far. Managed to build one up, a couple of little cool conversions, not much, but we just put some little spikes that I've taken off a rhino just to make him a little bit more chaosy. Not sure how far I'm going to go with him on the chaos side, but he needs a little bit more drawn to the dark side, shall we say. So he's getting there. So Sean, with your knights, you decided on how you're going to go with them yet?
I think I'm just going to go balls to the wall and just have them like just combat only, just really filthy combat. I hear that's what they do well, and I'm just going to max minute. I'm going to go for a couple of big fellows stomping across the board, and that's about it. I'll probably neglect shooting at all sakes just for a really random army that will, I don't know, just put them on the table and scare people and then wait and see what they do.
Do you know what? They're combat wise, they are meant to be absolutely frigging horrible. And I like the idea of the one that just drops everyone's invulnerable saves for a turn. That's gonna be absolutely brutal. For myself, I'm gonna go more shooty with the knights. I think I'm gonna have one close combat, and then the rest are gonna be supporting, sitting back with maybe the double Gatling cannons. I think that's going to be the way I'm going to look upon it. Because at the moment, the meta is all about shooting, right?
Yeah.
That's where we're at the moment. It's all about the shooting. So I think I'm going to go with the double Gatling cannons. Going to go obviously with the missiles, and don't need line of sight. I think that's always a big win when you've got a little unit that's just stashed away behind line blocking train. Obviously GW have announced that for Forge World, if you go to Forge World, that some of the terrain, like the ruins, can cause like line of sight blocking. So similar to the ICT, which is absolutely cool. I like that, really, really like that. So bearing that in mind, the idea with the missiles now that ignore line of sight, I think that plays a massive great part in this edition. So for instance, and the way I look upon it is if you go up against like the flyer spam. Now this is just hypothetical. This is me thinking out loud. This probably won't work. So if you're going to take this advice and buy an army tomorrow and actually try it, and it fails, I'm sorry, I wish you never listened to me. But the idea upon this is those line of sight blocking missiles, when you've got those guys that are dug in behind a building and you've got the friggin' 7-9 flyers buzzing around your head, you've just got to ignore the flyers, right? So you just go gunning for the guys hiding into the buildings itself. With these missiles, the idea behind them for me is just they're the ones that are going to dig in there and get these little shite bags out. Do the damage, get them out of the buildings, so your knights can then just take out whatever's left around, and then game over, man. Game over. Win for the knights. That's the plan, right?
Sounds good to
But
me.
as I said, it's easier said than done. But I know there's some really, really cool strats on there. But I think at the moment it's still early doors to go through everything what the Chaos Knight Codex can do, because the Codex has only just dropped. There are a couple of things in there that are broken. Like I think there's a knight in there that doesn't have any point value for the weapons at the moment, so it makes him like a really underpointed model. So at the moment, we know, like any other codex that comes out 2 weeks down the line, there's always an FAQ that comes out afterwards, which realigns or brings back into balance some of the brokenness or some of the misunderstood rules. So at the moment, people are out there making those mistakes, finding out those glitches, which is absolutely friggin' awesome. So the time that we get around to it, those mistakes have been made. So when it hits the battle report onto the channel, hopefully that those things have been pointed out, chosen, so we don't then have to reply back into a battle report 3-4 weeks later on. Yeah, I know, but so we hopefully we're going past that stage, which would be absolutely really cool. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for the Chaos Knights. They look so friggin' awesome. They look sexy with the big spikes, the big rolling face, the way the the armor is all changed, it's warped. I love it. I just wish they'd have done a whole Kessler Knight as well, because that'd have been cool. Some new armigers, that'd been cool. And obviously Sean's pissing himself with laughter. Nice one. So there's my little rant going. So lots and lots of shooting. It's going to be cool. Looking forward to it, and it's coming very soon. As soon as the nights turn up, we can start going on to it. But another cool thing coming in for the studio, if you haven't already been aware, we've just spent about £1,000 worth of MDF terrain and battle mats. So we've just got a load of Game Mat EU terrain. So we've got about £200 worth of their terrain coming to us very soon. Well, we've actually got it. We sat down with John at the moment, so he's making it up, and that's that new MDF stuff. I don't know if you've seen it. It looks like all like rusty buildings. It looks friggin' awesome. We've got a couple of cool mats with it, but we've also got some of the Cromlech and what's the other company? The Troll Trader do their own version, don't they? It's not called Troll Trader, it's called something else. I can't think what they're called, but we just brought loads of MDF train from them themselves, and the train that we've just built, we've got some really cool guys at our local gaming club. They've been absolutely awesome, so I want to just give them a massive great shout for all the effort they've been putting into building this MDF train. If you've never built MDF train before, it's very time consuming. It's not a 5-minute job. It really does take a lot of time to build this stuff up. Some of the orc stuff that's we've got for it, so we've got some really cool orc structures have been built for this, and they look absolutely friggin' awesome. Like I can't stress how sexy this orc stuff looks. So once these are done, we're gonna have a really cool orc battle board, a really cool elder battle board. So I'm really excited for that. We've got some MDF to put on the base, so we can put some nice bases around it. But more importantly, and now I know you're gonna love this one as well, Sean, we're gonna have a real like American themes, like going down the streets in New York, like the residential area where you've got the big buildings, and I can just imagine the battle report now, because we've got the streets and you're going to have like the knights just charging down these streets. So you're going to have some like really nice line blocking train, you're going to have your little petrol station, your little donut shop. It's going to be friggin' awesome. It's a little bit sad, but it's going to be really cool. So exciting times coming up, hopefully, for the battle reports. A lot of time and effort's gone in there. So once again, massive great thanks to all the guys that supported us and helped us build that train. Because without you guys, a lot of it would still be in MDF form and still in boxes. So thank you very much again for that. Cool. Right. I think we should talk about painting competitions. This is the big one. So we've had some really cool entries in for the painting competitions. There's been some really cool stuff in there, some awesome conversions. There's been some really awesome paint jobs in there as well. So hopefully, Sean, you've seen all the pictures. You've seen some of the cool artwork on there. So by magic, I'm going to be able to link the phone up to Twitch. So if you listen to this back on podcast, I do apologise, you're not going to benefit from this side, and this part is going to be like, what's the best way of describing it? Boring. But we're going to try to describe this artwork as if you were blind. So let's see what we can do and how we can interpretate the art that's going to be bestowed before us. So I'm going to go, as I promised before, we're going to go through some of the artwork because you guys are taking the time to upload these onto the Facebook page. So we're going to take the time tonight just to go through these, the artwork that's actually been done and actually talk about some of the cool bits around them, because there's some really cool stuff on there. So let's get some bits up there. Now the first one, let's get it up. So let's move it so it's not on Sean's face, bless him. So just up to the side. So this one is from David Williams. Let me just pull it up on the thing itself, so now I can actually say the names and give a shout out to the people that actually done this. So bear me 2 seconds, and then we'll get that out, because there's some really cool stuff up on that. There you go. Let's click onto that. Now by magic I can't unfortunately share this one because this operating system I work upon doesn't allow me to do that. So sorry, this is from David Weston.
Oh man,
this is his Def Leppard.
In my house.
Def Leppard even. So some really cool work in there. Loving the fact he's going down with the same type of lines similar to what Ace does, which is really cool. Sean's bug hunting. Obviously seen the Def Leppard, and obviously he's got the fear of God into Sean. It's a bug. Get the bug. I love the bass on it. The bass is really cool. Love the banner on it. Done a really good job there. So well done, sir. And then moving on to the next one. So this one's a really nice one. So Sean, I think this would be one that you would enjoy, obviously being a Death Guard player yourself.
She's going to kill me. I'm just after killing one and spreading it all over the wall. Oh my god.
So Brian.
I like this one. This is in my top 3.
This is in your top 3. It's interesting. Yeah, so obviously the beautiful thing about this, I get the opportunity then to pull it up. Love the colours, proper real, he's gone with the real Death Guard colours, gone with the white. Loving the battle damage, the rust effects on there. Yeah, there's some really cool. Love the cracked earth on it. Done a really good job there. Love the wings. You've done well, sir. You've done very well on that. That's so cool. Let's move on to the next one. Lovely
It's
Chaplin.
a bit of a delay, Darren, so you'll have to bear with me because I'm watching Twitch as well.
Right. Okay. So this one was done. Is it Clayton Barber? This is a Primaris Chaplin.
Clayton. It's a good name.
Strong name. But he's, again, really cool model. Loves he's taken the time to actually do all the artwork down on the actual. I can't think what they're called, like the little tassels that come down. Really cool.
How has he done the leather?
Well, the leather. That's the thing I was pointing out on this one, because this is really cool. I like this. He's done all this, with leather. Over as time goes on, if you're in the battlefield, it's going to get scratched. There's, you can't stop that. And the fact he's actually got to put in all that little detail in that, adds to the model, which is really cool. So he's done a really nice job with that one. I don't think we've got a picture from the back on that one, because that'd have been really cool to see how you'd actually done the cape on that one as well. The base is really cool. Not over the top. The base goes well with the model, and yeah, good. Like it. It's
I
strong.
like the what do I like there? I like the what do you call that bit there, right in front of you, to the right a bit? It's the I don't know, whatever you call the staff that he's holding. What do you call that grip bit there, the red and black?
Oh, the
what's the name?
Yeah, I see what you're saying on that part.
Yeah,
It used to be the Crozius, wasn't it? No, the Crozius was on the
handle, isn't it?
was off the Chaplin.
Is it the hilt? Yeah, that's really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, he's done a really. I missed that part, but yeah, it's a good shout. Really cool on that one. What we got in comments? Hello, everyone that's just joined ourselves. Really appreciate that. So next up, we've got Chaos Knight. Some subtle conversion work going on there. Just trying to think where the horns are from. what kit the horns are from. I know it's something from Fantasy, but I just can't quite think. Can you think what the horns are from?
No, I know they look recognizable. I like what he's done with the chains.
Chains are really cool. Really, really cool. Nice bit of battle damage going down on the legs, where he's actually cut into it, which is really cool.
Those horns in night.
So some really, really cool
Maybe it's a
stuff going
hand.
into that. Say that again.
Can you just say a quick good luck to my local team in Mannos in the charity match versus Newman FC?
Good
Good luck.
luck. Good luck. You don't need luck.
I've just got moths coming in. Ugh.
So the next one we've got. Who is this from? This is from Zach Taylor. Now this one's nice. I do really like this one.
I'm still here, Darren.
Yeah, I know you're bug hunting at the moment. So this one is with the Crozius.
What people don't realise is I had like proper moths in my last house. Oh God, where is he? Done.
This is great entertainment. Sean's going bug hunting live on Twitch.
I know.
For a few extra credits.
A
few extra credits, you can join him in the bug hunt. Please hit that like and subscribe, and you can join Sean in that amazing bug hunt. Yeah, this is really nice. I like it. Done a very good job there, sir. That's very good. It'd have been interesting to see
with that,
with the actual base itself. So with that one, you've done a really good job so far. It would have just been really, really, really cool to see it with the actual base on that one as well. But so far, that's looking stunning. So next up, we have got a librarian. Okay, this is going to be a hard one to pronounce. This one, Doho. Sorry, I do apologise if I'm saying your name completely wrong. So really do apologise on that. But it is really, really, really cool. Love the fact that just gone with those subtle, like the highlighting on it. It's kind of similar to what Toby does with his Custodes. Do you know the way
I tell you what he's done really nicely with this one, with the librarian. He's done really nicely on the cape. It's it's really nice actually.
And the base itself as well, like it's an interesting rim around the actual base itself, which makes it pop. So he's done a good job there. I like that. So next one up is a little bit of a conversion work going on for 1,000 Suns Sorcerer. And who was this?
This one caught me. This is good, isn't it?
Now this is from Ash Gavin. Hopefully I said your name right. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. Nice base. The base is really, really cool. Some really interesting conversion work going on there. That's absolutely freaking cool. I like that, sir.
Absolutely.
Done a really, really cool job. And it'd be interesting to know whether you've done your actual whole army in that whole format, which would have been really cool. This is really cool. So bit of kill team. And this was from Will. I like this, and as soon as you start getting up close and personal to this one. Now this is a really, really small model on this one, so the level of detail in such a small model, it's done a really, really good job on this. Love the flesh, love the if you go down into the pure detail, down to the actual eye itself, he's done a really, really, really cool job on that. Where you can actually see the actual eye itself, which is really cool. The highlighting is spot on. Again, you've got like the damage on the actual cloth itself to represent that, so that's really cool. Some cool detail on the base. Yeah, that's probably one of my top 3 on that one. I like that. That's really, really cool. So next one, of course, Orc at Heart. Now this was from Tom. Now the thing I love about this was the was the rust effects on the actual armor itself, which is actually really, really cool. Be interesting to know what's actually clan culture you gone with this fella. Again, base is cool, bit of cork. But yeah, that's awesome. Love that dude. Being an orc player myself, it's one to the heart. Now this is one from one of the Patreons. So this is from Tom. Obviously his full name is Thomas. I'm sorry, my friend, I can't pronounce your surname. But now what I've seen of Thomas is of the models he's done so far, he's done some really, really cool conversion work on all of his Tyranid stuff. His Gene Stealer Cult, he's got some really, really... he's lucky he owns a 3D printer. So some of the stuff that he's been doing with the 3D printer has been absolutely friggin' awesome. He's done some really, really cool stuff. So hopefully maybe we can get him to do some pictures of this.
How many guns do they
If you're already on the Twisted Dice Facebook page, he does post up a lot on there already. But he's done a really good job on this.
How many guns do they carry?
Cool
the gunslingers.
Say that again.
How many guns do the gunslingers carry? 3, is it?
3.
Oh man, they really did a good job, didn't they, with those? I'd love to paint that model. He's used some of the washes there. That's interesting, isn't he?
It was an early slip with them, wasn't it, on regards to this? So this one's up from our good old friend Simon. Now, Simon, unfortunately, you are disqualified.
Oh, I've played this army. Oh my god.
You are disqualified, Simon. Unfortunately, you can't enter into this painting competition. Lovely model. You've done a beautiful job there, sir. Lovely, really, really cool conversion work.
You know what that is? That's probably a space biker.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know where he's got the models from. He's obviously raided his kid's toy box. I don't recognise the actual dragon itself, so it'd be interesting to see what actually kid's toy box he's nicked that from. But he's done a good job, so well done, Simon. And he's got the whole army has been converted into that similar type theme. Really, really cool. And I think we've got a battle report somewhere as well with the whole army like this. Now, this is one that we have seen quite a few times now, and this is from Mark.
I like this one.
He has done an absolute outstanding job on this one. Like the detail he's put into just the pure conversion work on this has been really, really, really cool.
I seen this earlier. This is one I stopped and looked at for a while. I really liked it. I tell you what Mark does really well. He just does clean very, very, very well. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, and that's the thing. He's a very, very clean painter.
Yeah.
And he neutralizes both things. So he neutralizes the airbrush, and he does neutralize the actual brush itself. So he does take.
When you say neutralize, you mean utilize?
Sorry, poor word. As you can tell, my English is not my first language. But yeah, he really does use his tools to his best ability. Thinking of my words and how I say them. As you haven't already, I'm not a wordsmith, so me and Erebus are not on the same level.
Hey, look, he's even got shading on the guns. He's such a good painter, man.
Yes.
This is more.
And that's the thing. He has done an absolute outstanding job on that. So hats off, sir. You've done a really, really cool job there. So the next one up.
Darren, is that Mark that did the Elder Army?
Yes, that is Mark that's done the Elder Army. So you've done a really nice one on this one. So next up is an Imperial Knight. Now, this one has got some really cool conversion work on there. Now obviously the Knight head on this one is one that's, I'm guessing is been 3D printed. I have seen the head floating around on the 3D printing sites. Same with the claw as well, I believe. Nice simple conversion work on there. Base is quite simple, gone quite simple on that, but really cool. It works. You know, the colours pop. Done a good job on there. The only thing you need to do a little bit more on that is maybe just a little bit more on the base itself. Just, you know, make the actual model pop a little bit more on that. But still, it's really, really cool model. And I love the fact that you put the actual one of the storm shields on top of the actual wolf, on the actual top of the knight itself, instead of like the imperial symbol. So that's really cool. Done a good job there, sir. What we got next? Andrew Fuller.
Someone said it's from Shapeways, the head.
Oh, is it? I thought it was a free one you could download and print off yourself.
This is an interesting one. Is this an ultramarine?
This is an ultramarine, so I know this one would be close to your heart. Yes, done a really good job. Now, Andy, I know Andy. I know I've seen his work and I've seen his work progress. Andy is a really good. He's a really good painter. He's done some really good cool stuff with his ultramarine. So Andy, spot on there, mate. You've done some really good stuff there. Love the
this is
slight
actually
battle
my
damage.
top 3. I actually
Say that
really
again.
like this.
Yes, and I knew this would be, this would take a fancy to yourself, because I know you are a Space Marine player, so I know an Ultramarine player yourself. You would take, a good liking into this one.
He must be using an airbrush, is he?
Yeah, that one's an airbrush. I know that he'd just got a new airbrush, and he'd been playing around with the airbrush itself. So it just goes to show you can do some really cool effects with airbrushes themselves.
I need the recipe for his base. He's nailed that. So good, dude.
He's done a really, really cool job on that. Next one up. So who's done this one? So this one was. Is it David Williamson? Now, gold itself, I hate painting gold. I don't know about you, Sean, but I absolutely hate painting gold. But you've done well there, sir. The red cape does pop really nice against the actual gold itself.
Is that
look at the power weapon.
Scott Army?
Say that again, sorry.
Is that Dave Williamson who did the Scott Army? The squat?
Yeah, I believe it is, yeah. So just going down, just taking down to the little detail into the eyes. That's absolutely really, really cool. Done a really good job there, sir. Snowy base, it works. Faces and bases, works. You've done a really good job on there. Even down to the actual power weapon itself. So coming away from the silver and actually going with the blue, that's really cool. I like that. Done a good job. Do you recognise this one when it pops up for yourself?
What do you mean, do I recognise it?
This one you should recognise the paint job, or the type of person that will paint this type of model.
Toby?
No, but you're swimming in the right pond, sir.
Tristan?
Nearly.
Nick?
Ha ha! Got him. Nicholas. Nick.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry, you broke up on your side.
Oh, right. Yeah. So, yeah, done a really good job on there.
Nick is actually a really good painter.
Can't really see your cape on there, but it'd be again with that one. I think it'd be to see the actual backside of this model itself would have been a lot cooler to actually see, because I can see you've got some colours going on in the cape. Been seeing some more detail on that, so maybe we can get you down.
Have you ever seen Nick's army?
Oh, he's got some really cool models on there. He's done a really cool job. So next one, we've got a nice little Night Lord. Just trying to work out on the actual knee pad itself, because obviously that's not a standard symbol on that model, is it? So it's got to be a little bit of conversion work on there. So that's really cool. And with that one, it's a little bit hard to see a lot of the detail on there because of the way the picture's been taken. But it's cool. I like it. And I like it. Is that the blood coming out down from the eyes from the actual knee pad itself? It's cool. Okay, so next one up, we got Rabute Guilliman. And of course, this is a Rabute Guilliman that's converted to Nurgle in the pre-Nurgle colours. And of course, this is done by Fraser. So he's gone no airbrush, just gone with the standard colours. It's nice to see Guilliman in a different colour. And I know obviously your chapter, your chapter has been really, really cool. So I think we've gone through all the models in there. Just make sure I haven't missed any. So your top three, Sean.
Logging on now. My top three are the Dark Angel, the Ultramarine, and I would say I'm torn between Mortarion and the female, just for the detail. I think for me, it's between Andy and Mark really. I actually, show me them two.
Got to find them out. Got to find them out.
What do you think?
Unfortunately, I know I have already selected a winner on this one, and I don't think it's going to be a surprise on which one it's won it. So that's Andy's one.
Yeah.
And then that is Mark's one.
I think I'm going to go with Mark.
Yeah. So with this one, well done, Mark. You have definitely smashed his competition on that. That Dark Angels is absolutely beautiful. You've done an absolutely outstanding job on that, and we definitely can't take that away from yourself. So you've done a really, really cool paint job on that. It's absolutely awesome. So at some point I will catch up with yourself, sir, and we'll arrange to get some dice out to yourself. But
he did well, didn't he? I tell you,
done very well. Done very, very well. So some honourable shout outs. So second up, so the next two would be out there. I would say they've done really well. Andy with his Ultramarine, he's done a really good, cool job on that. It does pop. The base, faces and bases are strong on this one. Really, really cool. So, definitely a good shout out to himself on that one. Honourable mention on that one. And of course, obviously, we've got the character as well. So, a massive, great honourable shout out to that one as well, because that's absolutely awesome. So, because we was a little bit late on getting this competition out, I said we was going to drop this a couple of weeks ago, and we didn't. So the three people we've chosen to not selected tonight, we're actually going to send you, all three of you, some dice out. Because all three of you done some really, really cool things. I know we said there was only going to be one winner, but I think it's unfair because there's some really, really cool work out there. So we're actually going to choose three people tonight who's going to be the winner of this painting competition, because some really, really cool work has gone on there. So absolutely awesome, and really do appreciate you taking the time to actually put this up. We're going to do another painting competition, which we're going to look to draw that one towards. So we're going to give a good couple of months on this one. So we're going to go towards the end of September. We're going to announce that one. Hopefully what we're going to do on the next one, we're going to try to get someone else to go through the models and actually choose the winner itself. So I think it'd be a bit unfair for always myself to actually choose the winner on this one. So we're going to get someone that's really, really good at painting, who knows their stuff, and we're going to get them to go through and actually select a winner for the next one. So really excited on that one. So I'll put something up on Facebook over the next couple of days. So if you can, enter into it. Even if you don't think you got a chance, it's really, really cool to see what other people have been up to. I love when people do conversion works. It really does inspire myself to actually do the conversion side, and I love to see how people think and their thought process on how they actually do some of the actual stuff itself. It's really, really cool. Now the chaplain we saw earlier on that didn't have the base, we need to, it'd be really cool to see that model done and actually on a really cool base. So I'd love to see that one actually redone. So if you are listening back on this one, please do get that done, because that'd be really, really cool. That'd be absolutely awesome. So people at one, so we're looking at Andy, we're looking at Mark, and we're also looking at Will itself. So I'll drop you all some messages and get some addresses from yourself, and we'll get some dice sent out to yourself. And Sean's just found himself a new little button to play with on the controller itself, which is that is cool, Sean. Well done, sir. Absolutely well done. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself there. As always, Sean is a big kid. As you can tell, it's time for Sean's bed, and he's acting like a little little child, and he's getting a bit frustrated, so we need to send him off to bed. Look, I want to say a massive great thank you to everyone that's joined us tonight. It's been really awesome having everyone on. We've missed John, of course. Hopefully next week we'll have John back up on the conversation. Sean, we're going to talk a little bit with yourself on what are you playing around with, Sean? You're a bit distracting. But next week, Sean is going to talk to us about Titanicus, so that's going to be really, really cool. Stop playing around with your hands, boy. And we're going to have... I forgot something. We've got a really, really cool tournament coming up this Saturday. It's Idiot Beer's 10-year anniversary for being on YouTube. Totally forgot about that. So it's a really, really cool... It's a small event. Down in Gosport, we're down near to where he lives, so it's going to be really cool. We've got that coming up, so hopefully next week we're going to talk a little bit about that, and we'll let you know on what armies we're going to take. We obviously know John's going to be taking his Tyranids because he wants to keep up with that side of things, but I don't know whether to take Orcs or whether I need to take Genestealer Cult. Tough decision. So I've got big decisions to make over the next couple of days. Time is running short, but it's only 1,000 points. Not a big amount of points to take down there, so it's all good. Anyway, I'm going to say thank you very much for everyone who's joined. If you listen to this back on podcast, thank you very much. Don't forget to hit the likes. Really do appreciate it. And hopefully I haven't bored you too much, and I'll catch you all again next week. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Say bye-bye, Sean.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.